So as I promised, let me give you a smarter and better way to solve the same problem. And the idea is called two-force member identification. So the method is following. So the example we're going to consider is this. Let's think about the force equilibrium between road BC and road AB. Okay, and what you have to do first is figure out two-force member when solving statics problem, and it will give you a much better and easier way to solve the problem. Okay, so for this problem, if you look at road AD, there is pin here, there is pin here, there is pin. Okay, so you can see that the force will act on 1, 2, 3 location. However, if you consider road BC, the force will act on C point and B point. There will be only two force. Okay, so if we identify two force member, it will be B and C. And what's the advantage of two force member? Yeah, the advantage is it's really easy to identify the direction of a force. If you consider a two-force free body diagram where two forces act on like a different direction and different magnitude, you can see that force equilibrium and torque equilibrium does not satisfy. Now, suppose that you have two forces with the same magnitude in opposite direction act on BC direction. What you're gonna see here is force equilibrium will satisfy, but torque equilibrium will not satisfy. Okay, you can see it will rotate like this. However, if the force act along the line connecting these two points B and C, you can see that force equilibrium will satisfy and torque equilibrium will satisfy. No torque sum will be 0. Okay, so due to force equilibrium and torque equilibrium, we don't need to worry about the direction of the force. When you identify one two-force member, the force will always act on along the line connecting these two force points. Okay, so it will reduce number of unknowns. Okay, so this is the key idea. Now let's consider this example problem. When you have this AB and connected by this structure BC, which one will be two-force member? If you look at road AB, there is force, and there is force. 3 location is on the external force. However, if you consider this shape structure, BC structure, what you can identify is there is a location on the force and there is another location on the force. What you can identify is structure BC is two-force member. If structure BC is two-force member, we can imagine a line connecting this BC point. Okay, and you can identify that force will acting along this line. Okay, so this is the way how we can identify the direction of a force. Okay, so instead of defining x directional force and y directional force for B point and C point, we can say that a force will act on this direction, even though you're gonna get like negative force answer in after solving the problem. You can still say that the force will act along this direction. Okay, so the implication of identifying two-force member is reduction of unknowns. Okay, so let's solve the previous problem again. So if you solve the previous problem, you can see that road BC and road AB, boom BAB, both of them are two-force member. Okay, so in previous problem we define CX, CY in this direction, AX and AY in this direction, so that we have 4 unknowns. However, by identifying two-force member, you have to specify F1 and F1 in opposite direction here, F2 and F2 in opposite direction here, because this F1 and force acting on pin B should be action and reaction pair. It will be same magnitude but opposite direction. If you consider this F2 exerted by pin B, and due to action and reaction principle, this F2 must be balanced by F2 with the same magnitude but opposite direction. Okay, so the force acting on pin B must be 30 kilonewton external force, F1 due to the road BC, F2 due to boom AB. Okay, so there is only 2 unknowns and the direction of a force. We can identify the direction of a force from this geometry. The ratio is 3, 4, 5 ratio, 600 millimeter, 800 millimeter, and 1000 millimeter. Okay, 3, 4, 5 ratio. So you can identify the direction completely. So out of this consideration, and only with two unknowns, you can solve this problem really easily. Like F1 must be 50 kilonewton and F2 must be 40 kilonewton, and the answer is the same as our previous solution. Okay, so when you somehow encounter statics problem, try to figure out force member first, so that you can reduce the number of unknowns. Okay, so this is the hint that I gave you about solving statics problem or freshman physics problem.